Anger is not something that comes from outside. It rises from within, like fire needing fuel. The root cause of anger lies in the deep desire to control people, situations, and outcomes. When life does not move according to our expectations, we feel a disturbance. This disturbance is not created by others, but by our own mind, which clings to a fixed image of how things should be. When someone speaks against us, or disagrees with our opinions, or behaves in a way we did not expect, the mind reacts. It defends itself like a wounded animal. This defense is not love or understanding. It is fear, masked as strength. It says, "I am right, you are wrong." And from that separation, anger is born. Imagine a father shouting at his son for not scoring high marks in an exam. The father is not angry because of the marks, but because his image of being a successful parent is being challenged. In that moment, his thoughts are not about the child's growth, but about his own wounded pride. His mental state is filled with judgment, fear, and disappointment. He feels out of control, and so he raises his voice, believing force will bring order. But force only deepens the chaos. When we are angry, the body changes. The breath becomes short, the heartbeat increases, the hands tremble, and the voice rises. The mind is clouded. We don't see the person in front of us clearly. We see only a threat. In anger, the thought repeats itself like a broken record. I was wronged. This should not have happened. They don't understand me. These repetitive thoughts feed the fire, and from this fire, actions are born. Words that hurt, gestures that wound, silence that breaks hearts. After the anger cools down, regret often enters. But regret cannot undo the damage. A single sentence spoken in anger can destroy years of love. In our daily life, this cycle continues. A man fights with his wife because she forgets to cook his favorite meal. A mother shouts at her child for spilling milk. A friend cuts off another over a small misunderstanding. Each time, the mind clings to how things should be, not seeing how life is always changing, flowing, and unpredictable. Defending something with expectation creates conflict. When we hold on to an ideal, like my partner should never forget me, or my boss must respect me, we are building a wall around our minds. And when reality knocks on this wall with a different message, the mind feels threatened. Instead of allowing life to flow, we resist it. This resistance is the seed of anger. True intelligence lies in seeing this mechanism without judgment. To see that the anger is not someone else's fault, but the outcome of our own rigid thoughts. Life is not here to obey our desires. It is what it is, changing, alive, spontaneous. When we understand this deeply, anger becomes unnecessary. We begin to respond, not react. To understand anger deeply, we must look at how the mind is trained. From childhood, we are taught to compare, compete, and chase perfection. We are told, be the best, don't make mistakes, win the argument. These ideas sink deep into the unconscious. So when life brings failure or someone disagrees with us, it hits those hidden wounds. Anger is not only about the present moment, it carries the weight of our past conditioning. Suppose a boy grows up in a home where he is constantly judged, not good enough, not smart enough. Even as an adult, whenever someone criticizes him, even gently, he may explode. His mind is not reacting to the current words, but to the pain he has stored for years. Anger, in this way, is memory plus thought reacting to the now. It is a psychological scar that has not healed. Most people think anger is strength, that shouting, demanding, or punishing someone is power. But true strength is calmness. To remain still when the storm rises inside is real courage. A boss who insults his employee in front of others is not powerful. He is insecure. His mind cannot accept failure or challenge, so it throws fire to protect itself. But fire burns the one who holds it too. In families, anger becomes a pattern. A husband yells, the wife cries, the children hide. No one listens, no one grows. This pattern repeats daily until someone chooses to break it, not by reacting but by understanding. The first step is to watch anger when it arises. Feel it in the body, the heat in the chest, the tightness in the jaw, the shaking hands. Don't act on it immediately. Just observe. Observation without judgment is the key to freedom. If you can see anger without feeding it, without calling it right or wrong, it begins to lose its power. Most anger comes from psychological fear. Fear of being rejected, fear of losing control, fear of not being enough. These fears hide behind pride, behind the need to be respected, loved, obeyed. For example, a teacher may shout at students not because they are undisciplined, but because he fears being seen as weak. A man may argue with strangers on the road because his ego cannot tolerate being ignored or overtaken. Behind every angry outburst is a silent cry for validation. And this is the tragedy. The more we try to protect the ego through anger, the more lonely and misunderstood we become. The mind wants to be seen as perfect, but life is never perfect. People forget, people make mistakes, people disagree. And if we cannot allow them to be human, we suffer endlessly. Another important thing to understand is the connection between anger and time. Anger often arises when we are mentally stuck in the past or anxious about the future. He should not have done that to me last year. Or, what if she disrespects me again tomorrow? These thoughts fuel the fire. In the present moment, anger rarely exists. It is thought that carries anger forward. You may notice how after an argument, even when the situation is over, the mind keeps replaying it, justifying itself, blaming others. This replaying is the real source of pain. Thought gives continuity to anger. And the more we think about it, the more real it becomes, until it poisons our mood, our health, our relationships. There is also a hidden pleasure in anger. The ego enjoys feeling powerful, feeling right, feeling superior. But this pleasure is poisonous. It disconnects us from others. It makes us blind to the pain we cause. A man might feel proud of putting someone in their place, but inside, he grows bitter, restless, lonely. His heart becomes heavy. Real love cannot grow in such soil. In personal relationships, anger slowly builds walls. A couple may love each other, but repeated anger turns love into fear. They begin to avoid honesty, avoid sharing, avoid being vulnerable. A simple misunderstanding becomes a battlefield. This is how anger destroys not just moments, but whole lifetimes. When anger becomes a habit, it becomes invisible. People start to think, "This is just who I am," or "I have a short temper, so what?" But this identity is false. No one is born with anger. A baby does not hate, does not hold grudges. Anger is learned, absorbed from the world, shaped by environment, by pain, by misunderstanding. And what is learned can be unlearned. But unlearning begins only when there is awareness. Most people are asleep in their reactions. Someone says something, and without a pause, they explode. That small pause between stimulus and response, that is where freedom lies. If you can learn to pause, to breathe, to feel, you are no longer a slave to your emotions. You become the master of your mind. A man who pauses before speaking in anger may still feel it, but he doesn't let it drive him. That small act changes everything. Practical life gives us many opportunities to observe anger. At work, someone takes credit for your effort. The ego is hurt. The first reaction is to confront, to insult, to fight. But if you take a moment to look within, you may see something deeper. The need for recognition, the pain of not being valued. If you can address that pain with intelligence instead of aggression, the energy of anger transforms. It becomes clarity. It becomes strength without violence. Or take another example. Standing in traffic, someone cuts you off. The mind flares up. How dare he? But why such intensity? The situation is small, temporary, yet the mind reacts as if it is life or death. This shows how deeply we are conditioned to protect the ego. The car, the job title, the opinions. We defend them as if they are our identity. And when they are threatened, we feel attacked. But these things are not who we are. They are roles, functions, forms. The real being behind them is silent, aware, untouched by insults or praise. The consequences of living in anger are not just emotional, they are physical and spiritual. The body suffers. Blood pressure rises, sleep is disturbed, the immune system weakens. The mind becomes tired, anxious, stuck in cycles of blame and guilt. Relationships break down. Children raised in homes filled with anger often carry that energy into their own lives, repeating the same patterns. Even creativity is affected. Anger narrows the mind. It cannot see beauty, cannot hear music, cannot feel the subtle joy of being alive. A mind caught in anger is like a sky full of dark clouds. No light can pass through. But when we begin to understand the structure of anger, the clouds start to thin. We no longer take our thoughts so seriously. We begin to see that most of our suffering is self-created, not caused by others. Defending expectations is one of the greatest sources of anger. Expectations are thoughts projected into the future. She must love me forever. They must always agree with me. Life should be fair. These ideas are not facts, they are fantasies. And when reality does not match these fantasies, the mind rebels. But reality does not care about our fantasies. Life is not designed to obey us. It moves according to its own intelligence. The wise person learns to flow with life, not against it. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It means acting from understanding, not from reaction. If someone hurts you, it is wise to speak clearly, but not with hatred. If a boundary needs to be set, it can be done with firmness, not violence. Anger is not needed for action. Clarity is enough. In fact, the clearer the mind, the more powerful the action. Anger clouds judgment. It makes us say things we don't mean, do things we later regret.